Well, we've had good speed since we really started in qualifying trim here today, and obviously there's a lot more to just racing a racetrack than how fast you are in qualifying, but it's still a good start nonetheless. We've got a great race car here, and I think our race team is ready to hit its stride for the season. We've been close. We've had the speed really the last few weeks to get the job done, and different scenarios have kind of bit us, but those will come and go, and I feel like they've went, and I feel like this is our time.
Okay, we'll take questions for Brad. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Go ahead, Lewis, and then Bob.
Don't need to point out, but I am. The mood of the team. You've got to get into the chase. How is the team? The mood of the team.
Ricky Craven asked me the same question earlier, and I told him something. There's a sense of urgency, but not a sense of panic. And I think there's a strong difference between the two. We're eager to get going. We're hungry. We feel like we can do it. But I don't feel a sense of panic. There's still, 2 months of racing, essentially, to get in the chase. We've got fast race cars. If we do our part, we don't need any help. We don't need anybody's. We just need to do our part. We don't even need any luck. We just need to not have bad luck and do our jobs. And I feel like we've got the team to do just that.
Okay, we'll go to Bob.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. I assume you were happy there were no penalties for the roof flap thing. That's kind of the way you were lobbying for it to be handled. Kind of can get your reaction to that. And do you feel like, did that uplift your team at all, just having that kind of weight released off your shoulders?
Well, anytime you have the threat of penalties coming for any team, not just mine, it's a relief if they don't come. But yeah, I stand behind what I said before about how I feel like those situations were handled, and I thought that those at NASCAR that made that decision nailed this one.
Okay, we'll take our next one. We'll go up here, and then to Ryan.
Steve Richards with PRN. Indianapolis is James Finch's last race, it appears. Can you talk about driving for him, what kind of guy James is?
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see, but James definitely has played a role in the history and not just history. That's probably not the right word, but he's played a role in a lot of different things in the sport, whether it's giving drivers opportunities on the front side or back side of their career, or crew members of the same sort. And certainly he's got a lot of crazy stories and a lot of fun things he's done too, which add to some of the character of the sport. So not having him as a car owner, he will definitely be missed, but hopefully we'll still see him around the track.
Can you talk about when you won for him and how special that was to give him that victory?
Well, I mean, anytime you win, it's special, but when you do it for our car owner and a driver for the first time, it's kind of a double whammy, which is, partially why it's kind of saddening to me to see him go, because that's a bond we share.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Ryan, then go Ryan. Oh, go ahead.
Harold, have your perceptions changed much being a reigning champion as opposed to a guy on the make?
Perceptions of
just how the season goes,
like the sky, or what do you mean?
No, just your idea on how just the pressures on being a reigning champion.
No, I mean, I not really. I still have the same goals, and that's to continue to be a winner. And what fuels me inside, the competitive side, and the competitive fire that burns inside of me, is still there, whether I was a champion or not. I probably have it with a little bit more confidence, and I believe in myself and those around me a little bit stronger because of the championship. But as far as those core values, and I guess it's what you're probably trying to allude to, they remain the same.
Okay, Ryan, please.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Joey was in here earlier today, and he talked about a meeting and conversations that you had earlier in the week about each of you, not just helping each other get into the chase, but also racing each other to get into the chase. Talk about that kind of different type of teamwork that we have in the sport and how important that's going to be for you in this second half.
Well, I think every team has its way of finding success in different ways that the teams work with each other, and that's across all aspects. That's not just the driver's side. That's crew chiefs, car chiefs, engineers, all the way down the line. And for me, Ryan, I'm committed to working with Joey and doing all I can do for him. We're kind of tied together sometimes, whether we like it or not. You know, I wanted him to come to Penske, and seeing him be successful, you know, the more success he has, the more credibility I have, because I wanted him to come to Penske. And the stronger I feel about the legacy that I'll have with Penske Racing when it's all said and done. So, you know, I have a vested interest in seeing him be successful, if for nothing than my own reputation and so forth inside Penske Racing. But either way, he's my teammate. He can help me, and there's going to be times where he's going to be better than I am. There's going to be times get over this little hump that we're fighting through right now. There's no reason why both cars at Penske Racing can't make the chase.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob, then come up to Lee.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Morgan Shepherd will be the oldest driver ever to start a Cup race on Sunday. You've raced against him a lot in the Nationwide Series. I mean, do you have any concerns about a 71-year-old Morgan Shepherd out on the track?
I don't know what it's like to be 71 years old, so I don't know how I could comment on that, and I certainly don't know what it's like to be 71 years old and Morgan Shepherd. You know, at some point, you just have to trust that he knows what he can do and what he can't do.
We'll take our next question up front, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. When you're in the predicament that you're in, and Denny's in a far worse predicament than you are, but when you're in that catch-up mode, is there a tendency to overdrive the car, and how do you find the balance from, you know, just doing what you're used to doing and that edge where you're just kind of trying so hard that you do have a tendency? I mean, Kurt, you know, we saw Kurt overdrive the 51, you know, like a demon last year. How do you find the balance between overdriving the car and just doing what, you know, really has always worked for you?
Well, yeah, Lee, that's I think every driver handles that differently, and it defines who you are as a NASCAR racer. The I guess thought process behind this sport is that all the cars are equal. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that's not the case. I think those in the room know that. Maybe some people elsewise don't. But on any given day at the racetrack, the win is defined differently based on what you have for a car and team to work with. Sometimes the win is simple. You win the race, and you take a fast car and you find a way to get up front and lead laps and win it. Sometimes the win might be having a 15th or 20th place car and finishing in the top 5. That might be the win. And I know that's really hard for some people to see, and there's very few people inside the sport that I think even know when that occurs, when somebody takes a 20th place car and finishes 5th. But it's just as important as being able to take a winning car and win with it, and just as impressive to me. And you alluded to Kurt earlier, and I've seen Kurt do just that. It's my job to do the same. And as a driver, you have to have a keen sense of what you have on that day, which is incredibly difficult because we all have a piece inside of us that refuses to lose, that wants to find a way to win with the 20th place car. But quite honestly, that's usually when you wreck or do those things you talked about. It's a fine line that we balance as drivers that really gets no notoriety, but quite honestly is one of the hardest things you do unless you have a dominant car every weekend and week out like some guys do.
I mean, in the situation Denny's in right now, where, you know, we don't know if he's plain hurt. None of us know. Only he knows, and his doctors know what's going on there. When your confidence has been kicked around a little bit and you're not at 100%, does that also play a factor in overdriving a car?
Anytime your confidence is rattled, yes, absolutely, it plays a factor in how you drive your car, and it's a very critical thing to have, without a doubt. I can't speak to Denny and where his confidence is at. I just trust that he knows where his health is and where he should be, and go from there.